Shalom, giving all praises, honor, and glory unto Yahweh Bahashem, Yahushai Bahashem HaKodash. Double honors unto the elders and apostles of Great Millstone at Rule, and Shalom unto the 144,000 elect men of the nation of Israel, and the rest of the elect that are destined to be saved. I'm the brother Kalab, and I'm from the GMS UK London Forecasters Camp, coming back at you with another lesson to help edify those of which I spoke of. So this is a video from just 3 days ago. This was made at the height of Trump making his threats against Greenland, which we know, according to biblical prophecy, has to take place because basically the 10 horns have to hate the whore, which is riding on the beast. What is the beast I'm speaking about? That beast is the revived Roman Empire, and the 10 horns represent the EU and NATO, and the whore riding the beast represents America, which is Babylon the Great in the scriptures. So all of these things coming out in the news, this back and forth, we know that it's all staged. It's all controlled by the elites. What's going on, because they want to create certain outcomes through order ab chaos. Right, that's their motto: order ab chaos. And they're getting the desired result. But the fact of the matter is that the desired result isn't exactly what they plan it to be. The desired result is what the Most High, Yahweh, plans it to be, right? And we're going to get into what the Most High's plan is in a moment when I read Psalms chapter 51. But for now, we want to see the division in the house of Esau, because as I said, NATO and the EU is turning against Babylon. So there's that divide there. Now, what does the scriptures also say in Matthew chapter 7? Let's just quickly get that. This is not Matthew 7, forgive me. Matthew 12 and 26. Matthew 12 and 25. And Yahushua knew their thoughts and said unto them, every kingdom divided against itself is brought to desolation, and every city or house divided against itself shall not stand. And if Satan cast out Satan, he is divided against himself. Now, how shall then his kingdom stand? That's right, and Satan is divided against Satan. Esau is divided against Esau. Let's play some of this clip and see how they're talking.
For us, outside the EU and unsure now about our relations with Trump, I think if we are being forced to make a big strategic choice, we have to choose Europe. Brexit took us out of its marketplace, but also out of an infuriatingly slow-moving, pious, and not particularly democratic political system. I don't want to go back to that. But instinctively, in our values, at this crunch moment, could we really side with this American leader doing and saying these things? In a moment, I'm going to talk to Douglas Alexander, the Scottish Secretary, but also the former Trade Minister and a man who knows American politics very well. But there are questions which are even harder-edged about what happens if the US actually does send troops into Greenland soon, and what our defenses will look like if America was suddenly removed from the alliance. To deal with that, let's begin tonight with General Sir Richard Sheriff, the former Deputy Supreme Allied Commander for Europe and author of War with Russia, An Urgent Warning. Where did he think the US, leaving NATO, would leave us militarily?
In not a good place. But it would mean that...
Let me just pause it here, right? This is, you can see who these people are if you look at the colour of this man's face, right? If you look at the text on the screen, I mean, not the text. If you look at the area between the video and the blue bar at the bottom, you see a lot of white, right? If you compare that to this man's face, that man's face is not white, he's red, right? Because these Edomites, they are biblically known as, these so-called white people, they are biblically known as the red Hebrew Edomites. If we go to Genesis 25, Genesis 25 and verse 24. And when her let's read from verse 23. Genesis 25:23. And the Lord said unto her, 2 nations are in thy womb, and 2 manner of people shall be separated from thy bowels. And the one people shall be stronger than the other people, and the elder shall serve the younger. And when her days to be delivered, this is talking about Isaac's wife Rebekah. And when her days to be delivered were fulfilled, behold, there were twins in her womb. And the first came out red all over, like a hairy garment, and they called his name Esau. See, because back in those days, one of our customs was to have garments dyed red, right? Hairy garments that were dyed red. So Esau came forth, and his blood was showing forth from his skin as he came out of his mother's womb, and they called his name Esau. Now, jumping down to Genesis 25:29, and Jacob sowed pottage, and Esau came from the field, and he was faint. And Esau said to Jacob, feed me, I pray thee, with that same red pottage, for I am faint. So Esau wasn't ready for the meat to be prepared properly, the meal to be prepared properly. He consumed it while the blood was still in it. And that's one of the characteristics of Edomite people to this day. The Most High put certain markers on certain people so that you can identify them through the scriptures who they are, right? So Esau was called Edom, right? Because of he ate the red pottage, right? So if we go to Genesis 36, is it 36 or 1? Let's check. Now these are the generations of Esau, who is Edom. There you go. So if you go back to this dude here, this guy, that's Esau right there, man, a descendant of the red Hebrew Edomites. Look at the ceiling in his house. That's white. This guy's as red as a beetroot, man. So there ain't no such thing as no white people or black people, because we're not black, we're brown. There's nobody walking around on this earth who looks like one of those traditional old school gollywogs, like, you know, completely black, you know. So there's no black people, there's no white people. These are all constructs by our enemy, made by our enemy in order to oppress us and remove the name of Israel from us, right? So let's keep going with this.
In not a good place, but it would mean that Europe, the European member states of NATO, and Canada would be forced now to think through a new security architecture for the transatlantic region, less America. I don't think it necessarily means creating a new organization. I do think it would make sense to build it on the foundations of the old America plus NATO, because if America is no part of that alliance, there is still a command structure, there is still a doctrine, there is still interoperability, there are procedures and processes, and an understanding of multinationality which has underpinned the alliance and done it very well in its 76 years. So build on that.
Still very well worth having, but of course...
Right. So this Edomite was talking about, you know, if NATO does break off from the EU, so not EU, it's like if America breaks off from NATO and the EU, that they would like to keep, you know, some of their, you know, command structures and things like that. Basically, they're saying, well, you know, if you fall apart, we're going to rebuild with the same structures and same strategies and same techniques, and, you know, we can be just as prosperous as we ever were. Well, guess what? No, there ain't going to be no building back for Esau, man. When the Most High throws you down, he's going to throw you down completely and utterly. Let's get Malachi 1. Malachi chapter 1 verse 1. The burden of the word of the Lord Yahweh to Israel by Malachi. I have loved you, saith the Lord. Yet ye say, wherein hast thou loved us? Was not Esau Jacob's brother, saith the Lord? Yet I loved Jacob. And I hated Esau, and laid his mountains and his heritage waste for the dragons of the wilderness. Whereas Edom saith, we are impoverished, but we will return and build the desolate places. Thus saith the Lord of hosts, they shall build, but I will throw down, and they shall call them the border of wickedness, and the people against whom the Lord have indignation forever. So they're going to build, but the Most High is going to throw them down. Now this is Jeremiah 51, I think. I wanted Jeremiah 51 and 1. Thus saith the Lord, Behold, I will raise up against Babylon, and against them that dwell in the midst of them, that rise up against me a destroying wind. And I will send unto Babylon fanners, and they shall fan her, and shall empty her land. For in the day of trouble they shall be against her round about. Against him that bendeth, let the archer bend his bow. So those fanners that the Most High is talking about are the missiles, the intercontinental ballistic missiles that are going to be shot on Babylon the Great, which is America. Against him that bendeth, let the archer bend his bow. And against him that lifteth himself up in his brigandine, and spare ye not. So is that brigandine? Forgive me. Pronounce that wrong. And spare ye not her young men. Destroy ye utterly all her host. Let me jump down to no, let's keep going. I'll read through because it's edified. Verse 4. Thus the slain shall fall in the land of the Chaldeans, and they that are thrust through in her streets. For Israel have not been forsaken, nor Judah of his Most High, of the Lord of hosts, though their land was filled with sin against the Holy One of Israel. Flee out of the midst of Babylon, and deliver every man his soul. Be not cut off in her iniquity, for this is the time of the Lord's vengeance, and he will render unto her a recompense. Babylon hath been a golden cup in the Lord's hand, that made all the earth drunken. The nations have drunken of her wine, therefore the nations are mad. Babylon is suddenly fallen and destroyed. Howl for her, take balm for her pain, if so she may be healed. We would have healed Babylon, but she is not healed. Forsake her, and let us go every one into his own country, for her judgment reacheth unto the heavens, and is lifted up even to the skies. There you go. So that's the judgment of Babylon. You know, you're not going to be able to build on existing command structures and stuff like that. When Esau gets thrown down, it's going to be completely and utterly, he ain't ever coming back into power ever again. Let's get Obadiah on that. And it's coming soon. Coming soon. Esau's going down. Obadiah 1 and verse 18. No, Obadiah 1 and verse 16. For as ye have drunk upon my holy mountain, so shall all the heathen drink continually. Yea, they shall drink, and they shall swallow down, and they shall be as though they had not been. But upon Mount Zion shall be deliverance, and there shall be holiness, and the house of Jacob shall possess their possessions. And the house of Jacob shall be a fire, and the house of Joseph a flame, and the house of Esau for stubble, and they shall kindle in them and devour them, and there shall not be any remaining of the house of Esau, for the Lord have spoken it. Alright, so I'm going to have to wrap this lesson up here because I've got someone knocking on my front door. So Lord willing, this was edifying. With that, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Rakakadash, double orders unto the elders and apostles of Great Millstone at Wugwan. Shalom until the next lesson.